My name is Denise Langford Morris. I'm a circuit judge here in Michigan, just outside of the county where Detroit is. I can share with you that I have a bachelor's, a master's, and a law degree, all from schools here in Detroit. I started out at my first job was as an investigative social worker, investigating child abuse, neglect. I'll say that was my first really full-time job. I had other jobs before that at Sears in the auditing department and things like that. But when I started out, I never wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a doctor. In fact, I majored in chem bio in high school until I found out that I couldn't stand the sight of blood. So I didn't think I'd make a very good doctor or surgeon. But I ended up in the practice of law because of my social work background, investigating child abuse, neglect, and presenting cases in the Wayne County Juvenile Court here in the Detroit area. Back then, I presented the cases, and my job was to rehabilitate the families. Now, they have a prosecutor that does the job that I did, and a social worker that does strictly the rehabilitation. Well, I did both petitions and obtained detaining orders, met families at Children's Hospital and told them, your baby is a crack baby, you're not going to be able to take your child home until you get treatment and get over this habit. So a lot of things that put me in the courtroom where I saw lawyers, judges, and other people in the profession. And people kept encouraging me, Denise, you would make a great lawyer, you should really go to law school. And so that's how I ended up going to law school. And I worked full-time, bachelor's, master's, and law degree. I don't recommend it, but I worked full-time and I went to school full-time, I should say. So I was very busy, and I had a small child. For those of you with children, you can do it. All you have to do is focus, get your mind set. You may have to start studying at 11 o'clock at night after you come in from all of your classes and put your children to bed, but it can be done. And you just have to want it bad enough. But it was through that experience where I met others. I went on to work on a master's degree at first. I knew after the first semester it was not as challenging as I desired. Many of my friends said, Denise, you really need to get in law school. And so I had finished the first semester. I said, well, I can finish this whole program in 3 semesters. So I did 2 years in 1 and finished that, and then went right into law school. And when I finished law school, I had been so busy working and going to school and raising my daughter, I looked up and I said, now what do I do? I have my degree, I have a full-time job as a social worker, I'm presenting cases in court, but at this point, I really want to practice law full-time. And it was like it is now, terrible economy, no jobs, long lines, gas wars, I mean, it was really bad. And you couldn't find work. So that's how I ended up out in Oakland County, which is just north of here. It was, before this economic downturn, the 4th wealthiest county in the country. There wasn't one African-American prosecutor, not an African-American secretary or clerk in the entire office. I went out there, I got hired on the spot, and I worked my way up. I was the second woman to ever try felony cases at the circuit court level. So I learned how to litigate, and that's what I did, pure litigation. Every kind of felony you can think of, I did it, and then I left the prosecutor's office, went into private practice, where I did defense work, primarily insurance defense work. Allstate was not a client, but we had a lot of other insurance companies. I defended General Motors Corporation. I did products liability defense work, brake failure cases for GM dealerships, you name it, everything you could think of. Condemnation, zoning, I represented municipalities, slip and falls, all kinds of PI defense. My law firm did the Northwest 255 crash case. We did a lot of airplane litigation. I left the firm and then ended up at the U.S. Attorney's Office as an assistant U.S. attorney. While there, I did defense work in the civil division. Everything, again, you can think of. The Social Security appeals that Anita was referring to, I handled those appeals. I did slip and falls at the commissary, the post office, auto negligence. If a Navy recruiter crossed the center line and killed someone, we would defend the recruiter in federal court. So I did a lot of litigation in federal court. It was there, I was working there when there became an opening for the judgeship. And I applied, one of about almost 50 people applied for this spot, and I became the first African American to ever serve in Oakland County on the circuit court bench. Now I have a brother with me. Just this year, we have another brother on the bench, thank goodness, and I've been working hard to get him there. We need more. So those of you that are interested in judgeships, see me, I can help you. I was initially appointed by the governor, but I've run 3 times. I've been elected 3 times. I run again in 2012.